What's up, entrepreneurial accountants? I have a question for you. Is auditing a dead service? In just the last 6 months, we had FTX with Aramino. Now it's Silicon Valley Bank and KPMG. It's impossible to say what the next auditing scandal will be, but one thing we can say for sure. These scandals are changing the landscape of auditing forever. It raises the question, what is the point of an audit? Is it a dead service? First, let's talk about audit quality standards. When companies need an audit to ensure that their financial statements are accurate and comply with accounting standards, who determines the standards that auditors should follow? Well, in the United States, it's the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, and yes, that's a mouthful. The PCAOB, which is even more of a mouthful, they are responsible for developing the audit standards for publicly traded companies. However, even before the PCAOB standards were established, auditors were already following a set of guidelines and practices known as the Generally Accepted Auditing Standards, or GAAS. Today, GAAS, G-A-A-S, still applies to non-public companies, while the American standards apply to publicly traded ones. By following these sets of standards, auditors can provide reliable and consistent audit reports to their clients. For their part, after the FTX scandal, the PCAOB proposed an update to audit quality standards with the goal of strengthening and modernizing the requirements for conducting an audit. But that's all they did. Propose something. Like, I could propose right now that auditing should be the gold standard for accounting services, but it doesn't really mean anything because I just proposed something randomly. And here's the thing. No one is really enforcing these standards anyway, because Aramino, I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, and Prager Metis and KPMG haven't suffered any consequences for their part. In the financial fraud of FTX and the Silicon Valley Bank, respectively. And that's a huge problem. If there are no repercussions for auditors who do a lackluster job, yes, I'm being generous by saying lackluster, then why would any accounting firm, especially the almighty and powerful Big Four, spend time and money to improve auditing procedures? However, the Big Four firms have a vested interest in making sure that audits continue to be performed. There are a few reasons why they want to keep it that way. It's a crucial part of their business and a significant portion of their revenue. If you do a quick Google search about the importance of audits, you might stumble upon a pretty inflammatory article by the Wall Street Journal where they call out the Big Four and insinuate that audits are not necessary or reliable. But the Big Four firms have no plans to reduce their audit service. It's their bread and butter, and they charge hefty fees for auditing financial statements. All in all, audits are a significant driver of Big Four business, and it's often the first service the Big Four firms provide to a new client. Some may argue that the Big Four should focus on providing more value to their clients instead of just performing audits and raking in the dough. I, of course, would never presume to tell them what to do, but here's the thing. These firms have invested millions of dollars and hours into building their expertise in auditing. They can't just let it go to waste. They've got to protect their reputation as a dominant force in the accounting industry. If they admit defeat and acknowledge that they can't conduct quality audits, as shown by FTX and Silicon Valley banks, they lose part of their power. Auditing is not what it used to be 10 years ago. Today, Audits are mainly performed to appease investors and legal requirements. But that doesn't mean the Big Four are going to give up their power to make or break a business. They're more than happy to provide audit services to companies, even if they are pointless and unnecessary. I mean, who can blame them? It's just another opportunity for them to make more money and solidify their position as top dogs in the accounting world. And they will continue to use that to their advantage. Who knows what other opportunities await for fleecing clients once they've got their foot in the door with an audit. So, to sum it up, the Big Four accounting firms are all for the continuation of audits. It's what keeps their pockets lined and their egos inflated. As long as they're making money, they're happy. But does this service add actual value to their clients? It's a no from me, dog. Not so much. It's obvious that we can no longer rely on a Big Four audit. And if you can't rely on the information in the audit, then does it provide any value to anyone? Is the service of auditing dead? Audit quality, sure, is 6 feet underground, but no, auditing itself is not dead. And that's only because of the Big Four. They hold too much power in this industry, and they're weighing it down with questionable tactics, long working hours, unfair wages, and an alarming lack of ethics. Just take a look at their responses to questions surrounding the future of auditing and the quality of their audit. KPMG went so far as to uphold its audit findings, even though the Silicon Valley Bank experienced a total financial collapse mere days after the KPMG audit. In a public statement, KPMG noted, "It's important to recognize that audit opinions, which only address the financial statements and internal controls of the business, are based on audit evidence available up to and at the date of the opinion." I wonder what evidence they were looking at that missed hundreds of billions of dollars. We also saw a similar response from Prager Metis after it was revealed that they had given FTX a clean bill of health, which of course the founder tweeted that they had passed an audit, which I'm sure many investors used to signal that this was a safe company to put their money into, because that's kind of the point of an audit. It signals that the company is healthy, when in reality it was not. Anyway, regardless how any of these firms or PCAOB responds, it's safe to say that audit quality is dead, and the Big Four have no intention of reviving it because, quite frankly, why would they?